as the folks in the other main competing meats, namely pork and poultry, started to build their production really quickly, that put downward pressure on prices for sort of that ground beef product, and then that sort of worked itself back into calf markets in 15. So then we came into 16 thinking, okay, we've had our big drop, now maybe we're going to go back to a more normal price scenario. We're going to start moving maybe sideways on price for a while, and things will kind of start to recover a little bit. And that didn't really happen, right? For the first couple months of the year there, we were doing okay, and then things started to fall apart, especially there in August. If I had made the same comments I'm going to make now at the same time last year, I would have been wrong. I would have panned out wrong. But what I'm going to say is that because we're turning to more of a more normal supply and demand fundamentals, we're starting to turn the corner on the cattle cycle in terms of capping out on our inventories, slowing down our increase, and again, looking at the nationwide picture here, slowing down on our increase in the total herd nationwide, returning to some normal trade patterns, improving our exports, reducing those imports back down to a more normal level. You can see those two arrows in the red there. That's kind of where I see prices going, at least through the first quarter of the year. And you can see maybe why I made that prediction only through the first quarter there, looking at 16 prices. But what I think we're going to see is some sideways movement and a little bit of upward pressure into the spring, like we would normally see in this type of a market.
Kind of an overall snapshot of 4 crops. You don't see peanuts on here because these are futures charts and peanuts don't have a futures market. But just a couple of things here to give you an overall picture of how everything kind of looks at the current moment. Corn, and by the way, these prices go back about 6 months, and I know that's hard to see, but trying to squeeze all this on one slide is difficult. If you look over the past 6 months, you can see we had a nice, real strong peak in corn prices back during the summer, but have since fallen off quite a bit, and have kind of moved level now for the past several months. Cotton is trending up, although, as you see, even though it's trending up, we've been kind of level here for the past month or two. Soybeans has also trended up. Wheat has trended down. So just as we go through the remainder of the slides here, just kind of keep these things in mind. Let's start off looking at acres planted and how things have changed, at least in 2016. We saw here in Georgia, we saw an increase in cotton acreage and in corn acreage, and everything else was down. Peanuts were down, soybeans were down, wheat and grain sorghum were down. And you can see the shifts there. Cotton was up by 60,000 acres, although I think the very latest numbers that just came out last week, I believe they dropped that another 10,000, so I think we're only up about 50,000 from last year. And we'll wait and see. I think probably the most likely scenario here in Georgia is that we'll remain stable in terms of our cotton acreage, and I think we'll do that. But overall, in terms of total U.S., particularly you look outside of the peanut areas where just corn and soybeans are your major competition for land, I think the acreage will be up overall. This is going to add pressure to prices. Obviously, you increase production, but ultimately, that price is going to hinge on not only what U.S. does in terms of production, but also foreign production as well. We all know that. Stocks should continue to decline. I showed you that slide. They're going to have another round of sales in China. We'll continue to whittle down on stocks. And as I said, that's a movement in the right direction. So unless production declines globally, and this is my concern, unless we have a production decline globally, demand growth is also going to be key. We can't just keep remaining flat and stable in demand. We need to see growth in that area. Price is most likely 65 to 75, so that's basically a nickel on either side of where we are now. Peanuts, we've stayed above 700,000 in terms of acreage here in Georgia. Again, I showed you the slide in terms of cotton plantings, particularly on generic base. We've had tremendously good yields, down a little bit this year, obviously, but again, because of late season drought, just like in cotton. But our average yields have trended up tremendously. Many farmers now on irrigated peanuts probably expect to make 5,000 to 6,000 pounds an acre every year now. So yields have been doing very well. Our acreage has been able to hold, acreage has grown. We expect our acreage to increase this year as well.